40% podcast. I'm 40% podcast. You know I'm 40% podcast, baby. You know I'm 40% podcast. You know I'm 40% podcast, baby. I'm only 40%. Go. 40% podcast. I'm 40% podcast. Hello, everyone. I'm Jinkx Monsoon, and welcome to a brand new episode of I'm 40% Podcast. With me, as always, is the smelly little sweetheart whom I've come to call my son, Nick Sahoyah.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
I'm
I'm the co-host of this. I don't need to say thank you for having me.
I'm in Indianapolis. I am on the Jinkx and Nick holiday show tour. We just got back to the United States. If you want to see our show, we're coming all the way around the United States and Canada. So go to jinxanddela.com to get your tickets and info. But that's where I am. I'm in Indianapolis. I'm about to race a car because that's what you do, right? Here. Where
Really
are
good
you?
joke,
What
Mom.
are you doing?
It's just in my house, and we don't have time for fuckery today because we have to record 2 episodes. That's specifically.
Don't tell them that.
I'm upset, and I need everyone to know my
You're
state of mind.
upset?
Yeah, this is in my rider. I do not do 2 episodes in a day, and I definitely
Since
don't do them
when?
in a row. It's ever since
What
I've had a rider.
writer? I've never seen a writer from you.
Well, you don't look at a lot of documents, Mom, and I think that's the
You
main
never
problem
sent me
with your
your rider.
business.
Oh,
We've got news.
No.
We've got news. Hey, shh. Wait.
Good news, everyone!
The Futurama got renewed again. They're gonna do more seasons. I don't have the article in front of me. I didn't have time to get the article because we have to record 2 episodes today. I haven't even had time to have my Sudafed.
Oh
I'm
my
feeling a
gosh,
little-
calm down.
No.
2 episodes is nothing. We're going to watch TV and talk about it. Will you calm
That's easy. That's
D.
easy for you to say. I have to write these descriptions. This one that I wrote for this episode is manic. It's. Well, I'm gonna try.
That's easy for you to say. And if you fail, then what? Go to Paris or maybe somewhere else? With time rushing by.
Also, apologies for the sporadic release schedule as of late. Jinkx is doing her little tour.
I'm on the tour that I just talked about. So let's get into Bendless Love.
Original air date, the February 11th, 2001. Ooh, they kind of timed it with
Valentine's Day.
There's no cold open.
No
cold open whatsoever. The Chiron says, torn from tomorrow's headlines. Yeah,
I do like this Chiron.
What? I think it's
I
on the
like
nose.
it. No, it's not on the nose for me. It's delightfully pointed at the nose.
I only give it 3 Chirons out of a possible 5 Chirons.
I give it also 3.
Then why did you fucking talk about it like it was the best Chiron
Listen,
ever?
I'm a hard judge of Chirons. Before we get into it,
Oh, okay.
did you look up who voices Angeline?
Jan Hooks.
And who's Jan Hooks? I know this voice. What would I know her from?
Vicky Dupchek.
That is her, yay! Vicky Dupchek.
And for
Third
the
Rock
people
from
listening,
the Sun.
yeah, for the people who are listening who are not old and don't know what Third Rock from the Sun is, she was also on
John
30 Rock.
Lithgow vehicle. She was on 30 Rock and Third Rock. She played Jenna Maroney's
she
mother
did. I didn't think of that.
on 30 Rock. She's only in shows that have the number 3 and the word rock in it. Anyway.
She tragically is not with us anymore.
I did not know she had passed. She
died pretty young.
She was a very entertaining performer, and she's got
Really
a distinct voice, and she will be missed. And let's honor her today with the episode Bendless Love. That was supposed to be Moira Rose, but it turned into something weird and unsettling.
They do a big launch procedure, but the ship, it crashes right away. So they have to have a meeting.
Right away. That happens a lot, though. I'm going to say it. There's a lot of times where they take off and then something causes them to just immediately crash. Or
yeah, I don't know why they needed a big meeting for this.
Yeah, you'd think they'd have a contingency plan for when the Planet Express ship is destroyed.
They meet and they determine that the cause of the crash was sabotage. Bum, bum, bum.
Because the L unit, everyone knows that without an L unit, space travel is but the fevered dream of a madman.
And we see the L unit, it's simply a girder that it has a right angle. So I don't know why this is enabling space travel.
Well, because it's Futurama. And Bender, this is very funny because right away we get what's going on here. Like, it's delightfully pointed at the nose. Bender walks over to the girder and says, "Who did this? And by this, I mean this." And he bends the girder. Who could have done this? And then he bends it back and forth, showing off that he is the only one in the office with the capability to even do this.
Yes.
I hate you. I'm trying to make witty repartee.
We gotta cram in 2 episodes, Mom. There's no time for witty repartee. If you bring that up the whole
episode, that it's gonna suck. The episodes have to be how long they have to be, no matter how much you talk about how many episodes we're filming today.
Everyone's looking down at their app and the episode is like 12 minutes long.
Well, if you could just stop stressing and stay with me in the moment of this TV show from 20 years ago, please.
Okay. Hermes wants to make a chart to figure out the suspects, but his ruler's bent. Everything's bent around the office. We're starting to notice.
Everything's bent. Amy's javelin.
She can't win against Jupiter State.
Slinky. She can't win against Jupiter State because she goes to Mars University.
Yes.
Zoidberg's Slinky is all bent.
Do you think Jupiter State? Real question. Do you think Jupiter State is a school full of like gas creatures that live on Jupiter, or is Jupiter State like on one of the moons, like on some sort of hard surface?
I don't care.
Okay.
The professor can. Jupiter State. I don't know. Have we met anyone from Jupiter yet? Didn't we meet a Miss Jupiter at the planet, the Miss Galaxina?
I think she's like a Neptunian or like a Plutonian.
Jupiter. No, we've seen Neptune. We know what Neptunians look like because that's Sheffelzar, but we don't know. Jupitorians.
Jupitorian. The Jupitorians.
The Jupitorians.
Can you name all the planets, Jinkx?
There's February, March.
Dasher, Dancer.
It goes the sun.
The sun's not a planet, you fucking idiot.
I know, but I'm just starting at the sun. First there's the sun. Then there's Mercury. Then what? Mars? No, Mars is after us. Mercury. Something. Earth. Venus?
Yeah.
Earth. Mars.
Yeah.
Saturn. Jupiter. Pluto.
No.
Pluto. What's the other one? Pluto. Uranus.
Uranus.
You forgot
Well,
I did it.
Well, no, I was trying to help you. You did Jupiter in the wrong order, but that's fine. This isn't a science show. This isn't a science show.
You only asked me to name them. I threw in the addition of trying to do them in the order. I remember some things. I remember some things from grade school.
You don't remember what was the mnemonic? Like every good
Every
boy
good boy
deserves fudge.
deserves fudge. That's the music scale. I remember that. That pertains to my life. I'm not an astronomer.
Okay. So yeah, the Zoidberg Slinky it's a straight line now. And
oh, my cute cuddly Slinky. Move on.
The professor
Most
walks
shocking
in.
of all, the professor.
He has been bent. And they don't even really suspect Bender until he bends the professor the other way. So now he's like leaning backwards. And they go and watch the surveillance footage. It
because
turns
they
out,
still need proof that it's Bender.
Well, I think they know Bender
Innocent until
is the
proven
Bender.
guilty.
I think it's more they're trying to determine like the modus operandi. How do you do it?
The MO in the layman's. So Bender is caught sleep bending
He's sleep
on
bending.
the security camera.
And why would someone sleep bend? Because
they have unexpressed desires to bend. Just like you have a wet dream when it's been a while, and you have a dream about your teeth falling out when it's taxes time.
I've never had a wet dream.
You never have? They're great.
I think I just jerk off too much.
All the muss, none of the fuss.
I feel like it's quite a bit of fuss.
Toity.
It's quite a bit of fuss. You gotta
Whatever.
You gotta clean up in the middle of the
Oh,
E.
and you don't have to clean up and you jack off incessantly, you little pervert.
I point it somewhere.
Where?
Okay.
That poor mirror.
There was a good line where they said, when they're watching the surveillance footage, they say, "Bender, it's that guy you are."
Fry. I love Bender, it's that guy you are. I try to say that in my daily parlance. Hey, Nick, look, it's that guy you are. When you're on a poster for something. Remember when that happened that one time?
In San Francisco? I think that's the last time that happened. Bender is canonically from Tijuana. I wrote that down. I don't know why.
TJ.
Does he say that?
Yeah, because he's...
it's when we see him go to bending school in the flashback.
And... yeah, I think he was also, we talk about, because he went to bending school the same day he was born.
I guess so. No, we already knew he was Mexican. I think it's cool he's from TJ.
I thought we always knew he was from TJ, but I guess maybe this is another
Well, he's just got such a TJ energy, So we see him go to bending school. It's cute. It's just a little factory. And... he doesn't have to do anything. He's a robot.
He's a robot.
Wouldn't it be nice to learn things with just put a wire in your brain?
I mean, to an extent.
Why?
I
think it'd be
like...
cool.
Yes, some of it would be very cool and very useful. But if we take away the acquisition of knowledge, that's where you gain your life experience. Having the skill is only half of it. Half of the things that require deft skill bridge the gap between technical finesse and artistry. And artistry requires those life experiences you only get through putting in the work.
So, where you going? We reveal that Bender is 4 years old. That's fun to learn. He's only 4 years old. He's a precocious little scamp.
I'm a precocious little scamp, ain't I?
He's a menace to every straight person at the company is a line, which is relatable for me. Except I haven't worked at a place with any straight people in a long time. My last job at that school is full of gays and queers.
Really? The
Yeah.
boarding school?
Yeah.
Was it an all-queer
gays
boarding
and
school?
days. No, the students were boring. They were just little children, But my coworkers, they were all gay.
I don't know the age of the students you were looking after. I know I wouldn't let you look after
Oh, I'm sure some of them were gay. I didn't care.
child.
I just liked that I worked with gay people. It was nice. I didn't have to learn anything about oh, my name's Jeff. I'm your coworker. I'm going to a wedding.
Wait, what are you saying about people named Jeff?
They're so straight, right?
Can we get back to the episode?
I told you this outline is very piecemeal.
Like a prom dress made out of carpet remnants. Foreshadowing.
Honestly, that was a home run. That was very funny.
Thank you.
Okay, so he's got to satisfy his Ben lust, so
he has
goes
to get a job at a
he goes to
bending
a bending factory, yeah. And
unfortunately,
it's called Curvetti's, which I
why
thought was
would
funny.
I just don't get why this middleman of having these girders made and then bent into
by a humanoid robot.
I don't know how that's easier than just a factory that produces bent girders.
But I guess the good news is these humanoid robots are unionized and they are on strike.
Also, the whole thing about the robots' place in society just completely eludes me.
It changes.
Because there's some of them that were built for bending, but then here's Bender, who hasn't been bending all this time.
Hey,
and now he's
I was
being
built for
called
stand-up,
back
and
to
I don't do
bend.
stand-up anymore. It's kind of like that, you know.
I was built for reproduction, and I still haven't gotten pregnant, so...
Oh, God, if there was more of you.
So Bender gets to the factory, and
No, we have to talk about the
workers
robot
are on
mafia.
strike. They're on strike. That's how we get into the robot mafia. The
I
workers
already
are on
said they were on
strike.
strike, but whatever.
Well, they're on strike, and the robot mafia is looking after the union. The robot mafia is the union's muscle because they support unions because the robot mafia is very progressive.
Well, there's always been accusations of ties between organized crime and union organizers. Not much has been verified.
I don't
A lot of
get
it's in
why.
the past.
Like,
Well, this is also
what would be
this
the
is harkening
scam
back to
there?
a time when This is harkening back to a time when unions had actual power, so it was just like it was like forces that were not corporate or government, I think, kind of unifying. But regardless,
I know they
robot
make
mafia
this joke
jokes.
with like the fucking union episode of The Simpsons. They do the exact same trope and setup.
Matt Groening loves jokes about communism and the mafia being involved with unions. Those are his two go-tos.
The thing is I just don't see what would the mafia get out of supporting unions. You'd think there would be some sort of reciprocity there.
Well, maybe
Are they
that's
just
exactly it.
altruistically supporting
Maybe they're
unions?
doing good for the community in order to
Insider trading? Is
No,
that how
more of
things
like-
fall off trucks?
No, I think it's more of like
You
a
know
PR.
when they say it fell off a truck, and then it's maybe they get the union leader to right? It's a PR thing. The PR
sure.
of the mafia.
They gotta win the hearts and minds of the people. So they go. Bender crosses the picket line.
Everyone knows that the mafia's power comes from public opinion.
Bender crosses the picket line, and this doesn't make the robot mafia happy. They hate filthy scabs, and
They really do.
yeah, and Flexo is also scabbing in the bending.
What a
factory.
build-up! Wow, what a segue! And Flexo is also there.
What do you want?
Wait, does he meet Flexo before Angeline? Does he see Flexo before Angeline?
Yeah, doesn't he?
Oh, okay. So he sees
Does he?
Flexo.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I watched it. I think I watched it 10 minutes ago, and I can't remember.
I watched this 1 week ago at 4 a.m. because that's when we were going to record this. But I remember most of it. So Bender meets Flexo, his doppelganger from the previous episode. He looks just like Bender, but he has a little goatee. Do you like Flexo?
I don't know. I feel like part of Bender's charm is his bad boy appeal. So if you take that away, he's just you.
Well, I guess I do have a lot in common with Flexo. I like Flexo. Flexo has settled into a bit this episode where he says, hey, you're a piece of shit. Nah, just kidding. You're my friend. And he that's basically every line is he like says, nah, I'm just joshing. You're okay.
It's fine for me. I mean,
But that wasn't his bit in the previous episode. It's a new bit.
yes, it was. No, it totally was. He did that to Fry in the previous episode incessantly.
I don't believe him. And Flexo, he pretty instantly forgives Bender for like framing him for that thing and like sending him to some crazy prison. There's like a story that he was in a horrible prison for many years.
Yeah. Flexo, though, is the kind of like anti-Bender, right? Like he doesn't steal and he doesn't lie, and so he paid his time, and now here he is.
Are we
an
sure
honest,
he doesn't
working
steal?
scab? We're not sure he doesn't steal.
I think maybe he just steals a little less. Like
Yeah,
Bender.
isn't stealing part of Bender's program?
I'm
Which
not sure.
only raises more questions in my mind about the purpose that robots serve.
That just raises further questions.
In future society.
So this is where we meet Angeline over working in the factory. You know, Bender's in Flexo. They're bending these big girders, and we have because she's a girl robot. She's just bending coat hangers.
Bending
wire
coat.
hangers.
Okay, so this is silly and stupid. Of course, it's like we get it. She's a fembot, so she's weaker than the man bots. This comes up in a future episode again. To me, again, why build a robot that is physically weak? Why would you build a robot who's own? And we have hangers
Obviously,
now
the people-
without
obviously-
sentient robots.
Sure.
So hangers are not something that needed robots.
Sure. My answer, I don't have an answer to all of the questions, but my answer to one of the questions is why are they making physically weak robots? I just think the sad thing is even 1,000 years in the future, the powers that be are still locked into the gender binary. And as we know, they created robots to be able to reproduce. And they were like, well, the girl robots, they probably gotta have weaker arms, right?
Sure, I guess, yes. I guess this is a bit of a dystopian future where the
just
gender
noticed that?
binary still. Well, I don't know. Aspects of it seem really fun.
Which parts?
The big pink gum.
So this robot is named Angeline, and she's obviously a parody of Angeline, the LA billboard icon. Are you okay?
I almost fell. Yes. Yes, Angeline. And she is the female Bender. I mean, she's a bit crass. She's she feels like she came from the wrong side of the tracks, but she's got it going on because she's confident and she's got swagger.
I think
like
it's
Bender.
fair to say that Jan Hooks's most successful characters, kind of her niche was like white trash ladies who are also fabulous somehow.
Who are also fabulous, and everyone somehow, even though the whole joke is that she's nuts and gross, men desperately want her because not only on Third Rock from the Sun, not only did she date French Stewart's character, but she also ended up dating William Shatner's character, the big giant head.
She gets preggers, as we all remember.
She gets pregnant with the big giant head's baby.
Everyone should watch Third Rock from the Sun. Look, it's got a laugh track. It's very 90s, but just like embrace the campness of it. I think it's the last great like multicam sitcom with like a laugh track. I really love it. Because after that,
No,
yes,
it's not the last one.
yes, it's the last
What
one
came
I like.
first, that or Frasier?
Frasier came before, and it's also bad. Let's talk about. They're back at Planet Express. They're trying to bend all the things back to how they were. It's not going very well. Zoidberg bends his slinky back, and he like pushes it down the stairs, and it explodes when it hits the bottom. I think it is so fucking funny when something that shouldn't explode explodes.
Yes,
It's
and this
funny
is,
every time.
I don't know what season it is, season 5, 6, 7, 8, but there is a season of The Simpsons where everything explodes. Anything that crashes just explodes immediately. Chief Wiggum in a mascot costume explodes. The second it rolls down the hill and hits a tree, he explodes. I love it. I'll get you, Bette Midler! Explodes.
The professor and Fry are walking. The professor's in a good mood because the blood is pooling in the back of his brain.
He's got a upward bent on life.
We learned that Angeline's, I guess I was just like chastising you for questioning why they build the robots the way they do, but we also learned that Angeline's legs are made of rubber, which is just for a punchline, but it's like, why?
Okay, so
they're flirting in the factory. Bender bends a
and
girder into a
Angeline,
heart.
Yeah, it's an immediate match. It's
They
very
do a
clear.
montage to bend me, shake me.
Any way you want me, long as you love me, baby, it's alright.
I like that they're
Bend
fun.
me, shake me, any way you want me.
Their fun dating montage includes like robbing a carnival gamesman. And
Angeline.
they're riding the professor like a bicycle. They have a bicycle race.
Angeline is perfect for Bender in all intents and purposes. Right?
Mhm. They're having a meeting at Planet Express, and it's a slow reveal that they're all on the wall because the
professor's still bent.
And instead of moving the professor in some way, they've put the table on the wall and strapped everyone in. And it's very funny when
Hey,
they
it
all...
pays to be the CEO.
It's funny when they unstrap them and they all fall down.
Yeah. And they unstrap them because they're all gonna go do what? They're gonna go
Elzars.
celebrate with They're gonna go celebrate with Bender because he is finally in love, real love.
Yeah, so they go to Elzar's. Elzar suggests the pasta because it has a real nice profit margin. Yeah, and they see across the restaurant there that
Angeline and Flexo
Yep.
are having they're having a romantic meal together. Now, of course, Bender assumes that this means Angeline is being unfaithful, but actually, it turns out that Angeline and Flexo are divorced, and they're just friends now. They've just maintained a healthy friendship.
You know when you go to you know when you go to the factory to work with your ex-wife and don't mention
As a scab.
And you don't mention to anyone that you know each other already.
And then she starts dating someone identical to you, and you still don't mention it. And she's happy to date someone identical to you, but it never comes up. Very common things for marriage.
One of my favorite lines
Marriage.
is wav, twill wav. One of my favorite lines is when Bender goes up to confront the supposed couple. He says, "You degenerate hussy." And Angeline, I'm pretty mad at you too. So he just refers to Flexo as a degenerate hussy.
Yeah. Because, because Bender knows he's a slut. So he has to assume that Flexo's a slut too.
So they're trying to figure out how to resolve all this. And someone suggests that you could tell her about your feelings in an open and honest way. And he says, either that or you can be a man. And then it cuts to Bender being like, all right, so I've constructed an elaborate plan. And it's an elaborate lie where they're going to disguise Bender as Flexo and try to seduce Angeline to see if she'll sleep with him.
Yes. So he gets a little magnetic goatee.
Yes.
And
Well, he calls her to go on the date and he says, Hello, this is Flexo.
And he invites Angeline to go dancing.
They go to the hip
Angeline
joint.
says, "You always hated dancing." And he lays the moves on by saying, "That is something I've always wanted to make up to you." Here's the thing is, Bender is disguising himself as Flexo and then going above and beyond to seduce her. He's making it so hard for Angeline, but it leads to a really, really wonderful punchline that I can't wait until we get to.
Bender orders a fuzzy navel and the girliest drink at the bar, so he gets two fuzzy
navels.
And there's this running gag where the robot Mafia is also out at the hip joint, and they recognize Bender as being a filthy scab, and they're watching him flash his scab cash.
Yeah. And, but the Don bot, he's a man of values, and he says, only if they catch him flashing his money wad 3 times.
3 times.
Bender has 3 chances before he gets the clams. So this is money wad number 1, right?
Let's wait till he does it a couple more times. So they are having a wonderful, wonderful time. They close down the hip joint. Angeline still thinks it's
At some point,
Flexo.
His beard gets stuck to
it's
another
right when they
robot's butt.
Oh, yes. The beard is just it's really not a consistent.
It's not it's too magnetic, and it gets stuck to some fembot's butt, and then Bender wipes it off. I'm sorry, it's metal. What is he wiping off?
That's where the exhaust is. There's exhaust residue in that area.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, and it comes off again when he finally talks her into giving Flexo a kiss. She pulls away and she's
Flexo.
She pulls away and she's got the little goatee on because it's now stuck to her.
Now, I'm going to just take this series of lines because it's my favorite series of lines.
Very well, I'll drink water while you talk.
Bender says, "Oh, since you love Flexo so much, you even love anyone pretending to be him." Angeline says, "Maybe I love you so much, I love you no matter who you're pretending to be." And he says, "Oh, how I wish I could believe or understand that."
Very good line.
It's a really good series of lines.
I'll try and add.
Love that. That's
I'll try and add, believe and understand that to the soundboard. Kevin,
that should be on
your friend Kevin, or your friend Kevin, past friend. I can't talk right now. Past friend of the show, did give me all of the old Futuramas on a little flash drive, so I'm gonna be able to get all those sound drops that I could not get before. I'm so excited.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I couldn't do it today. I didn't have time because of the scheduling things that we mentioned before.
Listen, if you bring it up one more time,
what are you going to do?
I'm just going to run you down with my car. I recently watched the episode of The Simpsons where we discover that Ned has an anger problem, deeply repressed. And at the very end, he goes, "From now on, if you tick old Neddy off, you're going to hear about it." And everyone goes, "Yay!" Yay! And then he goes, "And if you really make me mad, maybe I'll run you down with my car." And everyone gets really uncomfortable. And the episode ends with Homer going, "Ned, you so crazy."
I've been watching Simpsons recently. I got to season 10.
I only watch it before bed.
I got to season 10, so I'm about to stop watching. But it's still pretty funny.
Yeah, it's good until 10.
So,
until after 10. There's a peppering of good episodes. Anyway.
He flashes.
This is not a Simpsons podcast.
He flashes the cash.
Futurama is
we
the
skipped
podcast
over. We skipped over something. He flashes the cash to call a car for him and Angeline, and that's the necessary number of times for the Don bot to order
the clamps.
He asks, "Was that 2 or 3 times now that we've seen his money loaf?" I can't remember. And then someone says it's 3. That is the necessary amount of times. So now they're going to go whack him.
They're going to go whack him, and they think that it's Flexo because of the fake beard. Yeah. And they go to the bending factory. What is it? It's a bending factory? Is it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Somewhere makes the girders. Then they send the girders to this factory to be bent, and then the factory sends them out. And the girders must be important because they make L units, which without
space travel is
but the fevered dream of a madman.
Shut up, baby. I know it.
Okay.
I'm getting some street noise. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna pause for 1 second. There's like a fucking monster truck in front of my house.
The Crushinator.
Oh, I wish it was the Crushinator. Maybe we should leave that in. That's pretty funny riffing. Should we leave it in?
I don't know. I'm not the producer.
Finally, she admits it. All right. Let's just keep going. There's going to be some Crushinator sounds, and I can't do anything about it.
I don't hear a thing. You sound crazy to me right now. So, back at the factory. Right?
Oh my god. It's a fucking Corvette. It's a fucking little boring man who spent too much money on a car. And the car is loud. The car is loud in order to show off how rich he is. I fucking hate people.
I really hate people too.
So, yeah, Flexo, he's at the bending factory. And so
and he's bending away.
He's bending away. And he goes in there and he punches Bender goes in there and punches Flexo in the back of the head.
And then Flexo does the opposite of his bit by saying
he says, "Oh, hey, it's nice to see you. Just kidding. That was quite annoying."
Why can't Flexo speak directly? Is that a program malfunction? Is that a personality quirk? Is that something he picked up?
Maybe it's like a Yoda thing where it's like he just talks backwards for some reason. Is it his species? Is it nature or nurture? We don't know.
We don't know. Robots are really confusing.
We've also never met another Yoda to talk. The other Yoda, Grogu, he doesn't talk. He's too little. He's a baby. So we'll never know. Meanwhile, yeah, they're having the fight, and the robot mafia is looking on. And instead of relying on an accident to happen to the filthy scab, they're gonna try and kill him, and they're gonna do it.
Gee, boss, I don't think we should rely on an accident. We better kill him ourselves.
The plan is they're going to drop an unbendable girder. An
unbendable girder, which is just lying around at the bending factory.
It's like hanging from the ceiling, right?
An unbendable girder is at a bending specific factory. Completely eludes me, but this episode isn't about what makes sense.
What if sometimes you need an unbendable girder to bend the other girders on?
Is it like the sword and the stone and they keep it there because one day the once and future king will be able to bend the unbendable girder? Also, don't unbendable girders come up too much in this show? This isn't even the only unbendable girder.
This is the only one.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm thinking
unbreakable
of the
diamond filament. Are you thinking of that? Idiot.
Go to hell. So they drop the unbendable
I'm glad we're fighting
girder.
again. We hadn't been fighting the last couple of episodes.
It feels good to hate you again. They drop the unbendable girder on Flexo. Once again, Flexo is answering for Bender's crimes.
Yes. Oh, wow. Parallels. It's kind of weird that we don't see Flexo ever again. Does he even have a little cameo?
No, I don't think so. Because, basically, this is there's a few times that Bender has a chance at true love and he gets in his own way. I guess he didn't get in his own way on Titanic.
Okay,
Titanic. The Duchess yacht thing. The Duchess yacht robot.
He was pretty in love with Amy. He was pretty in love with the Planet Express ship for a second. He was pretty in love with... Who did he date in the movies? Who's Bender fucking in the movies?
I don't know, but I feel like Angeline and the Countess are the two, and Amy. Amy, they went all the way to getting married. He was very in love with Amy until she said it would be monogamous. And honestly,
That makes me feel angry.
no, I was gonna say, I feel you, Bender.
No, it makes me feel angry that he was asked to be monogamous.
But I love you, Amy. It's okay.
Yeah, we
everyone
forgive
deserves to have the relationship they want to have,
Sure.
whether it's an open one or a boring one.
Or a ghost and horse marriage. So, yes, this is the Bender or the girder.
I'm just joking, everyone. If you're monogamous, I love you. I don't. I have no judgment towards monogamy. I'm so sorry.
I'm joking.
I'm joking. I'm just joking.
I'm joking. Are you gonna tell everyone I did that? Okay.
Oh, let's get Tim Robinson on this show. I think he's my colleague now that I did an episode of Teenage Euthanasia, which he voices. He's a mainstay character on Teenage Euthanasia, starring Maria Bamford, Tim Robinson, and BB Newirth. What an ensemble.
Yes. Who's BB Newirth? Is she a olden-timey sitcom person?
BB Newirth is Lilith from Frasier, and she was...
From Dragon Age?
Lilith from Frasier and Cheers was where Lilith was first introduced. But she's also a Broadway star. She starred as Velma Kelly in the 90s revival of Chicago, which is still running today.
Okay, well, go watch this cartoon that Jinkx is on. It sounds good. And we can plug things that you're on again.
We can do it again. It is finally acceptable.
Bender's fighting with... so they have impeccable aim when they drop this girder, and it does land on Flexo, because that's who they think they're mad at. And it squishes him down, sort of like... did you ever squish soda cans? You ever have one of those things in the garage? And you put it in, pull it down.
I didn't have a thing in the garage. I took the soda can and smashed it against my head like a decent person.
And you would,
of course,
you would open your beer bottles with your teeth as well. I remember.
I did not.
So, it lands on him and it does squish him down, and it's sad because Angeline has... The joke is that Angeline has fallen in love with Flexo because of this...
Through Bender pretending to be him. You pretending to be Flexo showed me how much I still love him. Even though... Here's the ironic thing. The whole time she's with Bender pretending to be Flexo, she says, "This is nothing like you, Flexo. You're not like this at all. We got a divorce because you didn't want to do these things." Here's the thing is, she's going to go back to Flexo. Flexo hasn't actually changed.
Yeah.
Flexo has not become the person. That was just Bender being Bender.
Which is apparently what she's actually attracted to. But this is why...
But now she's attracted to the man who needs her help. You know, now he's crushed.
Yes.
And she sees him in this vulnerable state, and she's having all these confusing feelings for him again because of this way that Bender gaslit her. Angeline is in a really tough position here, you know?
It's pretty tough.
Anyway, so Bender realizes that he's causing Angeline much torment, and to save Flexo, he attempts to bend the unbendable girder.
He's gonna...
And you can't bend that! It's unbendable!
Yeah, he, in order to really work his way up, he puts on some bend gay. It's not bend gay, it's bend gay. What do you use for your sore muscles? Do you use a Vapo Rub or an Icy Hot?
I use something called BioFreeze, which essentially it's the icy without the hot.
Oh.
And it penetrates through the layers.
Mm. This sounds like your Mr. Freeze origin. Like you're gonna do too much of it, and then Kenneth is gonna become Mr. Freeze, and they're gonna have to find a cure. So
no, I'm clearly Poison Ivy.
Oh yeah.
At the very least, I'm Pamela Isley.
Does Dayla have red nails?
Yeah, it's very cute.
She kind of lucked out on that one, huh? Walking around with green nails.
If someone should ask me why I paint my fingernails green, and it just so happens I do paint my fingernails green, I say it's pretty. I tell them it's pretty, I reply.
Oh my god, I'm so sleepy. So, Bender, he does bend the girder. He successfully does it, and his arms...
Los Esleepis.
Yes. His arms, they fall off. It's pretty funny. And we cut to Planet Express headquarters, and my favorite thing is Leela says, "So then Flexo and Angeline had sex right there on the factory floor?" And presumably, Bender just sat there and watched.
So, like, Bender sat there and watched, and also Flexo was like an accordion at this point. Like, they didn't even repair him first.
Well, what parts of the robot?
He was completely crushed.
Yeah, but sometimes
we still don't know really what happens during robot sex. What if they just connect two wires?
It might be that. That's what I'm saying. Maybe the port was not damaged in the crushing. Also, sometimes we see them just like fooling with each other's circuit boards. Like his head seems okay. I feel like the head is made of a stronger material because Bender's head seems pretty impervious, you know.
Is that where the dolomite is?
Maybe that's the 40% of the dolomite is all in the head. Have you seen Dolomite Is My Name starring Eddie Murphy? I just watched it the other day. It's very good. This is the second time I watched it.
I haven't seen it.
It's on.
I have a hard time with Eddie Murphy.
He's great in this movie. Do you know who Dolomite is?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Thanks to Mad TV.
He plays Dolomite, you know.
I figured.
From the title, Dolomite Is My Name.
Starring Eddie Murphy. How you introduced it to me.
Look, I don't get worked up. I don't get worked up about award season very often, but why was he not nominated for an Oscar for that film?
Because he made fun of AIDS patients in the 90s.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I wouldn't nominate him.
No, the real reason is because he did Norbit. The fact of the matter is the Academy does not give one fuck that Eddie Murphy's stand-up was very homophobic in the 80s. They do not care at all.
Oh my god.
They'll
it's because he did Norbit.
Yeah.
Shit. That was the second funniest thing you said today. Got me out of my chair, but I didn't have to do a full walk around the room.
Why is this a new thing you're doing? Are you workshopping it?
It's not a new thing. You just haven't made me laugh really hard in a long time.
I made you laugh really hard with the slide whistle, and you didn't get up and walk around. So there's not much else to say. Ben's. Oh yeah, the professor. He's been bent that way for too long. So they asked,
he's really pissing off everyone because he's too positive
happy
now. And he's singing, "Oh, wangle a new angle on life. Get your head up and look up and doodle-a-doo. Oh, wangle a new dangle on life."
So this is pretty frustrating to the Planet Express crew, and they asked Bender to bend him again. But instead of bending him upright, they just bend him further down. So he's like how would you describe this angle? Like a ping pong table when you fold it up, kind of.
Yeah, but like if you folded it the wrong way.
Some of them fold that way.
Whatever. It's
So-
when you try to it's like when you're trying to when you're trying to pull open a push door.
So the professor says, "I'm sad now."
I'm sad now.
And they decide to leave him like that.
Well, no, it's that the humans scream, "Bender, we meant bend him the other way." And Bender says, "I like him better this way." The professor, he's survived a lot for a man as delicate as he is.
Oh, all this bending, you mean?
I mean, yes.
He's bent around quite a bit. I don't know. Maybe he like has an artificial like hip and back at this point, and it's pliable. It's so interesting because he's supposed to be like precariously old, but he also shows no signs of dying anytime soon.
Mortality.
Yeah.
Well, we know that people live to be much older in the future because they have a whole contingency plan for when someone reaches 165, right?
I can't remember the exact age, but yeah, somewhere around there.
So, and it's in the hundreds, so...
It's in the hundreds.
And the professor's parents are still alive, for God's sake, so...
Oh, yeah. They're in those pods.
They're literally like 190 years old, and they still have all their cognitive faculties. So, we know that there is some death-defying science in the future, but I think this is my best hypothesis, is that the professor, being a genius, has done things like what Rick has done on Rick and Morty, where like he's installed stuff in him or applied science to him so that he could live longer. I mean, he eats mummies, for God's sake, you know? Like, we don't know what all he does to stay alive.
Speaking of Rick and Morty, I wanna try something here. Let me.
Hey, let me ask you something.
You watching this new season of Rick and Morty?
I have not yet but it has nothing to do with the voice actors or anything.
Oh,
it's
of
just
course,
that that I just when I'm on tour, I have a hard time watching new stuff because I get resentful when I can't just sit and binge watch a TV show that I want to watch, you know? And I start getting mad that I can't just watch it all at once. And so I wait to watch it until I'm home.
Yeah. I feel a little checked out of Rick and Morty at this point, I'll be honest. And I already felt that way last season.
Out a little bit.
So again, definitely nothing to do with the voice cast, but I'm just like,
you know,
and whoever's doing Rick is nailing it. Morty sounds a little squeaky, but Rick sounds perfect.
I don't want to talk about, people are very opinionated about the recastings that have happened in certain cartoons.
Oh,
and
yes.
I don't give a fuck because, listen, here's what I would like to say. I would rather hear a unique take on the character than, this is why I like what they did in Solar Opposites. They said, rather than try to replicate this character's voice, we're going to come up with a reason why this character has a new voice. I don't think that works in every scenario. You know, it wouldn't have worked for Rick and Morty.
No.
But there is something to be said for when a voice is close enough to the original, but you can hear that the voice actor is making their own decisions. Well, anyway, that's my opinion.
Yeah. I wonder, I guess I just worry, like, I do feel it's still Rick and Morty. It's still funny. I'm just a little fatigued with it. And I worry we're getting now 4 short seasons, including the one we just covered. So 4 short seasons of Futurama. Are we going to be so burned out after 40, is that right? 40 new episodes of Futurama?
Well, they've had a long time. The original writers have had a long time to come up with ideas that they probably thought, damn, that would have been a good idea for Futurama. Or they're like, you know, experiencing life now. Like we saw the new reboot season is very topical to what we're going through now, even though it had to be made a year in advance. Yeah. So I'm kind of excited, but like, hopefully they do know when to. Hopefully this time, Futurama will get to end on their own terms, like they got to with Netflix.
With
What was
Comedy
what was
Central.
the platform that Comedy Central?
Comedy
Yeah,
Central.
when they ended it the last time. All I hope is that they get to end it themselves. I hope
agree.
it doesn't get canceled again, because I think when they get to map out what they're gonna do, they come up with really cool stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess listeners, you'll hear us cover those 30 new episodes of Futurama as they roll out over the next, I don't know, 5 years, 10. How long are we gonna do this, Mom? Till we die?
I don't know. Next year, if we're still here, if we're all still here, we should do another season.
In the year 25, 25, 25, if mankind is still alive.
Shut up. So I'm just going to say I wouldn't have sex with Angeline because I am Angeline, but I would have sex with Flexo.
I'd have sex with Flexo, yeah.
I feel like he'd be really invested in my needs.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I think that's a whole episode.
We're going to... That's a whole episode.
We did
And
it.
look, we're still standing. And anyway, we will be back next week. It's only going to be about an hour for us, but for you, it's going to be a whole week. Ha! That's how podcasts work. Until then, I hope you have a futuristic day. We'll see you next week for
Okay.
what's the episode? I know I skipped a little. Just a small stroke. Thanks for checking on me. The episode is called The Day the Earth Stood Stupid. So we'll see you next week. Until then, Mama loves you, baby.
Okay, bye.
Wow.